Good afternoon, class. This is our presentation about eBooks. I guess I will start with a little historical excursus, and I should say something about e-journals first, and journal articles in the electronic databases. We could still go to the periodical section and browse the journals, and maybe we'll find some relevant materials for our research, but that's probably not the most efficient way of conducting research. And if we do need journal articles for our papers or other projects, and actually not just journal articles, it could be legal cases from LexisNexis database, maybe finance documents filed by companies with the Securities and Exchange Commission, for instance, documents like annual reports, for instance. But primarily, of course, what we need for our research is journal articles, peer-reviewed journal articles. And if we use those, it's in most cases, it's kind of sufficient for our papers, for our research. And in the past decade, we sort of upgraded to online databases. And it's basically pretty much billions of different journal articles at our fingertips, and the search tools we are equipped with are very powerful and fast. But with the books, the situation is somewhat different. The books are still somewhat lagging behind. We still use paper books a lot. But on the other hand, we are also in the process of transition from the paper books to the electronic books. E-books, electronic books, they also come in databases, similarly to the journal articles. And there are some proprietary devices that could also be used for the same purpose, which are also linked to the similar kind of databases, and we'll talk about it a little bit today. So let's get started with the databases that are available for us through the CUNY subscriptions. And well, in this case, I guess we have to use Chrome because our library website, I understand, it was more designed for the use with Chrome. If you get to the library webpage, you remember that from Medgar Evers College website, you can click on the library, and then you get to this website. And they have this pull-down menu. Then you can click Search All, and it's one of the last categories, the eBooks. You scroll down, it should be towards the bottom. eBooks right here. So take a closer look. Some of them might actually be already familiar to you, even if you never used them before. NetLibrary is a good example. Why? Because it's EBSCO. You are familiar with the EBSCO databases, using them for journal articles, and this is the same kind of database, only it's EBSCO host ebook collection. And you see they specify right here that if you want to access it from home, you need an account. Well, for this class, EBSCO account is mandatory, so I assume all of you have it, so you can access it from home. But there is a disadvantage of that database. Until recently, they imposed the limitation that each electronic book, each ebook, could only be used by one person at a time. Meaning if somebody is using it, then you cannot use it. We'll check in a second if that limitation is still in effect for us, for Medgar Evers College and for CUNY. It is part of their marketing process, I understand. Probably depends on the contract. But last year, well, basically a couple of months ago, that's exactly what it was, and in a second we'll check, we'll see if it still works this way. Otherwise, it's probably 90%, the paradigm is the same 90% as for the journal articles. Then another one, which I will strongly recommend you, is eBrary, Academic Complete, eBrary. There, the kind of contract CUNY had with them, we always could search, there always could be as many users as necessary for the book, as far as I know. So there was no problem to access an electronic book if you find it by using your search. Okay, so other resources are also quite useful, although they're listed in the ebook category. They are not necessarily ebooks per se, by definition, but one way or another, well, they are electronic resources which could be in a regular book format. Like the one that I would strongly recommend to is Oxford English Dictionary, OED. If you see it on shelf, it's like probably 30 volumes. It's gigantic. It's the #1 dictionary in the world, I should say. And we're lucky to have it in electronic format. So it's really a great resource. So let's start with the EBSCO, because it's the most familiar to us. And I clicked on it. And well, you can see the familiar interface. Shakespeare, and it indicated a spelling mistake, so it was capitalization, I guess. And Hamlet will be the second keyword. Shakespeare and Hamlet. Then I'll make it, well, full text, not really. And it doesn't give us an option, the usual option for peer reviewed, because it's not really a journal, it's an ebook. And the moment of truth, I'm going to click on search button. And here it is. So we got a number of books retrieved.
Professor,
Yes?
how did you do that again? You went to Shakespeare and Hamlet, then you did what?
Min will show it to you in 1 second. Then I hit enter, search button or enter key. Okay, let's start with the Shakespeare romances, comparative research and study guide, for instance. You can see you can download it to use offline, and you can also access ebook full text online. You can also access table of contents directly. That's probably would make sense if I click on table of contents. It'll give me some idea about the book. You see, these are like the chapters, and they have some sub-chapters if you click on the plus sign. So it's quite useful. And then you click on the this is, guys, what I was talking about. So I clicked on the chapter. You see, sorry, this ebook is in use. That means it's a limited number of licenses, and you either have to wait till they stop using it, or you'll have to look for another resource. Otherwise, a great database, EBSCO, we're familiar with it, but unfortunately, this is the disadvantage. That's why I usually very much recommend another database to use, the eBrary. But let's find something here in NetLibrary that could still be used. I'm gonna involve the, okay. Say, Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Table of contents, then the little plus sign, then say Act 4, Scene 2 I want to use. Okay, this one is not being used, but again, you saw the hurdles that you might encounter, that the book is just not available, so they have like limited number of people, maybe like one person or two people could use the same book. At the same time, the